Welcome back. The main event ready to go. The Commonwealth Middleweight Championship, Michael Watson making the first defence of the title. He won so dramatically against Nigel Benn. Against, well, is he a fool or is he a horse? We shall find out. Craig Trotter, no relation to Del Boy or Rodney, but one of the Australian trotters. And if you think he looks a bit like George Michael, well, I hope he fights better than George Michael. There we go. Rated 9 in the Commonwealth, that is. Quite an experience. 3 defeats at the hands of 2 men. Luke Cafaro took the Australian title away from him in April of last year. And a certain gentleman called Ronald Dew has beaten him twice inside the distance. But believe me, there is no such thing as a soft Aussie. At this point, we'll give Michael Watson a 5, I'll tell you that. An Arsenal Football Club's best-known supporter, perhaps, about to make his entrance. It's been a frustrating couple of years for Michael Watson. He beat Nigel Benn, the world was at his feet. And then that 11-month layoff before that wonderful world title challenge against Mike McCallum. We saw it on Screen Sport, 11 rounds. And then the comeback, if you like, against Errol Christie on the Ben Eubank bill at the NEC. Just those 2 defeats. Mike McCallum. And the only other man to beat Michael Watson was James Cook, who's now, of course, the British super middleweight champion, who outpointed him over 8 rounds at Wembley in May of 1985. Good to see Michael Watson back. There's the Commonwealth trophy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. 12 3-minute rounds of boxing for the Commonwealth Middleweight Championship. Firstly, may I introduce to you the challenger from Ferntree Golf, Melbourne in Australia. Would you please welcome Craig Trotter.
And 1 or 2 Aussies in the audience tonight, which is good to see.
In North London, Michael Watson.
More supporters for this man, though.
This match was made at the championship limit, and this afternoon at the weigh-in, Craig Trotter scaled 11 stone and 5 pounds. Michael Watson scaled 11 stone and 6 pounds. This is 12 3-minute rounds of boxing. Our timekeeper is Mr. Lou Hubbard, and our referee, Mr. Larry O'Connell.
Larry O'Connell referees this bout. And this could be the start of wonderful things for Michael Watson. He's got a lot of good fights open to him if he comes through against Craig Trotter. Nominated to meet Steve Collins for the vacant European title that Bomber Graham's just given up. Possible Atlantic City date against either Doug DeWitt or Matthew Hilton. And of course the real carrot, Michael Nunn for the IBF title, possibly at Highbury in April. But he's got to beat the Australian first.
Well, we hear this guy is lacks experiences but tough and durable. Well, we'll find out soon enough. But he's surprisingly small for a middleweight. He started his career as a late welterweight. and he's dwarfed by Watson here. He certainly looks a hell of a lot smaller and not half as muscular.
Well, Watson did, as we saw, a very professional job inside 3 rounds against Errol Christie back in November. And he'll want to get this job done and look good in doing it as well. There's a big television audience for this one, and for better or worse, it's how you look on TV that sells fights nowadays.
That's true. We've got to an era where TV dominates our sport, and it pays good money for it, I suppose. So Watson's got to look good. It's not about superb right hand, and as I was about to say, it's not about winning, it's about the way you win.
Absolutely.
A nice right hand. We all know he's going to win this fight. It's just the way he does it.
And he started this, and he looks in really good, Watson. He looks in absolutely superb condition. And you wouldn't believe he's a man who's had just a couple of fights in the last 18 months or so. He looks very, very sharp indeed tonight.
I always thought he's a big middleweight. He's got big arms in him. His body is reasonably small, but he's got good back on him and good strong arms. Solid hitter.
I've always thought him a very underrated fighter, Barry.
When you think that he's number 3 in the world, and he's beaten Nigel Benn, and you know, he certainly hasn't had much publicity, and certainly hasn't got a high profile. And maybe that'll all change.
Well,
he's certainly determined to win here, and win by the short route.
He's had his ups and downs with Mickey Duff, who manages him. No secret in that. And I think he rather resents the fact, Michael Watson, well, I know he resents the fact that even though he's beaten Ben, it's guys like Ben and Chris Eubank that all the publicity and all the plaudits have gone to. Well, he's been sidelined, if you like.
Trotter has been running here like big time, and he's keeping on the move. Obviously, he's felt Watson's power, and he's got on his bike. Watson's going to have to cut the ring down.
Well, I tell you, we've been concentrating on Michael Watson, but I tell you, Trotter looks no mug. He survived that first round. He didn't get drawn into a slugging match. He fought a good first round. He lost the first round, but
well, he's done obviously what he's been told to do. Keep on the move and let's feel this guy out, see what he's got, and then we can work on it. You know, it'll be interesting from their point of view. They're going to be saying to themselves, what has the McCallum fight taken out of Watson? Has it taken the sting out of him? And you know, what we've seen so far, he looks as sharp as attack, Watson, and it only looks like a matter of time when he cuts this guy down and actually gets to him.
some action from the first round.
It's a beautiful right hand. That's the first right hand, and he actually shook him with that shot.
That was in about the first 10 seconds of the fight.
That's right. And, Craig on his back after that. I'm sure Watson will be told to cut the ring down. Instead of moving after him, actually take a step to the side, shorten the ring, cut it in half. You can actually do that by just moving, not your lead foot, but your right hand foot. Come more square on, but then it leaves you in a punching position, and it stops your opponent from moving away from you.
I tell you, I reckon Trotter must have had 4 shredded wheat for breakfast, because he looks a weight division lighter than Michael Watson. I know there's only a pound in it, but it really does look like a middle against a lineman, almost.
Well, you wonder how much of that weight is artificial weight, you know.
Well, that's true.
When I walk around at 10 stone 8, 10 stone 9, and 10 stone 7, and my fighting weight was 9 stone, and I always done that between fights. So, you can actually, I could fight as a welterweight, but I only look like a blown-up featherweight or blown-up junior lightweight. And most guys do. Most guys, I'm sure Michael Watson, who weighed in bang on 11 stone 6 today, walks around, I'm sure, 12 stone, 12 and a half stone. He's a big middleweight. Nice right hand again.
Watson. A grimace from Trotter, who's at the moment got nothing but speed.
But watch what
in his
Trotter's doing.
defence.
Watch what he's doing, Dave. He's actually walking into the right hand. He's been hit with several right hands, and watch the way he's moving. He's never taken a step the other way. Straight into the right hand every single time. And if he keeps doing it, you've got to keep throwing it. Move to the left, back on into the right hand. There we go. Watson's fighting a very cool fight, using his jab. He's not chasing, he's just stepping after him, putting the ring down, using his boxing skill. He's surprisingly fast, and he's not been hit with too many punches in return. As he starts stalking Trotter, what he'll do is he'll actually show him the space, let him see that he can get out to the right, and actually show him the space, and then put the right hand over really swiftly and land it with devastating effect. Trotter's a tough kid, isn't he? Really strong, Dave. He's
very
durable.
And very, very quick. Well, Trotter, as the bell goes, trying to get the jab to work, but Watson fielding them quite comfortably on his gloves. And they, of course, are not scoring punches. So, excellent start for Michael Watson. The Force, as we now have to call him. And Craig Trotter, well, he's seen another of his countrymen, Guy Waters, lose to Dennis Andrus in Adelaide over the weekend. Wonderful performance by Dennis Andrus.
He's another one of those right hands, and yet still Trotter's moving into that right hand. I think obviously he's been taught to move that way. He's very quick, bouncing off the left foot. But what's going to happen is Watson's going to bounce a right hand off in one of these rounds, and he's not going to get away from it. He's really a solid puncher for a middleweight, Watson, and he's going to start cutting the ring down and putting the punches on Craig.
Well, yes, of the 23 wins, 19 inside the distance. He's a good puncher. I say he's a very underrated fighter. I feel for him that he hasn't got the recognition he deserves, but 91 could be his year. But he's got to dispose of this boy first and do it in style. He's made a good start. Talking of good starts, a spirited opening to the third round by Craig Trotter.
We're told that Craig has got a good left hook, but the biggest mistake that he'd be making would be actually to come to Watson, because if anything, the one place or the one thing that Watson is not good at is actually coming forward. He prefers his opponents to come to him, and I think Craig would be making a mistake to walk into this guy. That's when he's going to get nailed, and nailed good.
I tell you, Barry, there's some heavy artillery flying around.
Certainly
in there.
is. The thud, you can hear it from ringside here. God, I'm glad I'm retired. Beautiful left hook, straight up the middle. It's like a scything hook on an uppercut by Watson. Landed perfectly well. Good offense by, good attack by Craig. He's coming forward. Craig Trotter. He's coming forward there with about 4 or 5 punches, which 2 of them which actually landed on Watson. What he's got over Watson is speed. At the moment, he's been able to elude most of these good solid punches. So as the fight wears on, that's when he's going to be in difficulty.
And Watson has already shown in the first round, we called him with a peach of a right in the opening seconds. He's got the ammunition to hurt the Australian.
Certainly has.
Mark you. Trotter landed one on the button there. Not bad rounders for the Australian.
This Trotter's a game kid. You know, he looks like a blown-up welterweight, and he's really mixing it here with Watson.
There's no such thing as an Australian softie.
Certainly not. He's making a real fight of it, Trotter.
Gave that round Watson, but it was a hell of a lot closer than the other 2 rounds were. This has got the makings of a cracking title fight, Larry.
Yeah, well, from what we've seen so far, it's been very exciting, and Trotter moved around for the first round and a half, and he's come back at the end of the second, and you know, he mixed it up in the third. He really did.
Well, Michael Watson, as I said a little earlier, he's got so many options open to him after this fight. He's been nominated to fight the Irish-American Steve Collins for the European title, vacated by Harold Graham. It's been also mentioned that he might go over to Atlantic City and fight either Doug DeWitt or Matthew Hilton, with the winner of that bout leading Michael Nunn. And if Watson were to fight Nunn for the IBF title, that would be possibly in the open air at Highbury Football Ground in April. I wouldn't envy him having to fight Michael Nunn. For my money, he's the best of the middleweights at the moment, with all due respect to Chris Eubank, who I suspect is watching this. Look forward to seeing you, Chris, in action in Brighton.
You know, you would imagine that he would pick the softer option, but what do you do? Do you risk fighting for a European title or take the chance of fighting for a world title and the chance of winning? So, you know, you never can tell. Got to get over tonight, but this kid's making a fight of it. I haven't seen many body punches from Watson. I wonder what he's intending to throw these later on in the fight, but
well, that's how he's going to slow Craig Trotter down.
Yeah, well, you think that's you'll actually start to throw those in the early rounds, so they'll take effect in the later rounds. But there you go. He's got his own tactical battle to play, and it's entirely up to Michael. He's the one in there throwing the punches.
Well, if anybody should know about the effectiveness of body shots, it'll be Michael Watson, because that's how Mike McCallum beat him, the body snatcher. A good left counter from Trotter. Nice crisp punch, that. Even better left coming from Watson. A smear of blood now under Trotter's nose.
Watson's starting to pick his punches. Because Craig's coming at him, Trotter's coming at him, he's able to select his punches, and just as I say that, Trotter gets on his bike again. But when he's coming towards him, Watson's the bigger man. He can afford to tuck up and just pick his shots. And that's what he's been doing this round.
And maybe significant in this round, Barry, that just once or twice Watson has come down off his toes, planted his feet, and has really dug them in, and they've hurt and they've landed.
Nice 1-2 there. Is he all the makings of a great fight?
He sure has. That's the back view of the Trotter corner. Now the front view.
It's an attack from Watson. And it's a lovely 1-2, straight 1-2, but Trotter's quickly on his bike and getting out of the way. The idea is to take one punch in a combination, but don't take the next 2 or 3. Get your head out of the way. And that's what Trotter done.
When we're talking about Australian boxers, a lot of boys like Jeff Fennick come to mind. The last Aussie middleweight that I can remember making a sort of impact on the world scene was Tony Mundine. So, not a bad act to follow if Craig Trotter can manage that.
I can't comment on that because I don't remember Monday. Was he before my time, dear?
Oh, a long time, a long time. You were a wee babe on your mother's knee when he was around, Barry.
Trotter is giving Watson trouble here. He's coming forward, in and out, and mixing it and then getting out of the way. So he's making it an interesting fight so far. I think Watson is well ahead, but Trotter's been making it interesting. Oh, beautiful right hand as he walked forward there. Another right hand. 3 of them in a row. Trotter's in trouble here, is he?
I tell you,
his legs looked a bit shaky there as they went back to the ropes.
He's game as a bagel. He's ploughing forward still.
Nice left hook as well. He's using the wrong tactics coming at Watson. Watson's best when you come at him.
And Watson's starting to land now, and land heavily.
Another right hand, 2 more right hands.
This is turning into a war.
Trotter's hurt. Another right hand, left hook.
And the crowd getting behind Watson.
This guy
Trotter banging back at him.
Trotter's a game boy, I'll tell you. He's really making a real fight of it.
What a good exchange that was. I tell you, isn't he just turned 22, this Craig Trotter, just before Christmas? He's got a good future ahead of him.
He's going to go down punching if he's going to lose. And by all accounts, he's going to, because Watson really teed off on him in this round. Some beautiful sharp right hands as Trotter actually came at him, which are doubly effective because your weight is against his weight. Another right hand, 2 more, and that's the ones that are going to do the damage.
And going, and gritting his teeth and hanging on, Craig Trotter.
What a game kid this guy is.
And still trying to take the fight to Michael Watson. There's one brave boy, this.
He's not going to win this way. He should be on his bike, but he's tired, he's been hurt, and he's trying to hold on.
No, he hasn't hurt Michael Watson at all. He's landed some good shots, but he hasn't even shaken him. Oh. Well, you've got to question, as Barry has so rightly pointed out, you've got to question his tactics and trying to bring the fight to Watson all the time.
Another left hook and right hand, Dave, just as we were talking there. Beautiful punches. Hitting Trotter right on the money.
And the Australian
he's all over the
so
place.
well to get through that round.
I looked at his eyes there, Dave, as he turned to the corner. He's badly hurt. His corner man saying to him, "Are you okay? Do you want to go on?" Fantastic round for Watson.
Great
A lot
round.
of hard punches exchanged.
I don't think the end can be too far away now for this young man. And Watson, look at that, what a contrast, absolutely unmarked. Take another look at the pick of that round. What a good round that was, Barry.
Superb punches. I'm just looking at the corner here. I don't know whether they're going to let him go on for much longer. Watson landed some superb right hands and short left hooks. I'm going to give him another round anyway.
No, he's gone. The towel's come in. Well,
yeah, that was a very brave performance by Trotter, but I looked at the corner. There was a lot of... they were very worried in the corner, and I I was surprised that he let him out for the round, but he actually threw the towel in to end the fight. Superb performance by Watson. He's on the road to, you know, big paydays and hopefully title fights. And Craig Trotter deserves a round of applause. Fantastically courageous performance by him.
Having been retired by his corner at the commencement of the 6th round, the winner and still middleweight champion of the Commonwealth, Michael Watson.
So the end coming at the very start of round 6. And Michael Watson giving due notice to the middleweight division that he is back with a bang. Retaining his Commonwealth middleweight title in great style. Well, we're going to be hearing from Michael in just a moment. Gary Newbon up in the ring. Now let's hear what Michael's got to say for himself. And once again, doing the honours at ringside, my old mate, Gary Newbon.
Michael, while you were waiting there in the corner in between rounds, I have to tell you that Craig Trotter was really distressed between rounds, so they had to you had to throw the towel in.
I trained so hard for this fight. You know, these Australians, I don't know where they're all creeping out from, but they're certainly tough, really.
You always start slowly, but were you satisfied with your performance?
I was satisfied with my performance. I only went 3 rounds with Errol Christie. What I need at this stage is to be more active.
Well, you're getting caught behind all the sort of euphoria of the middleweights, despite your wonderful performance against Ben. So where do you see your immediate future?
Well, I've just found that I've been nominated against Steve Collins to fight for the European Championship.
Do you think Steve Collins, who's based in America, will go for that?
I don't see why not. As long as the purse is right, I don't see why not.
But what about the big ones like Ben or Eubank? What's going to happen there, do you think?
My intention is to clear out the middleweights, starting with Chris Eubanks. You know, I think Chris Eubanks has got a serious problem, and that's a problem of fear. You know,
a problem of?
It's fair.
Yeah.
You know, the prospects of facing him in the future is very bright. I want to send a message to Chris Eubanks. Chris Eubanks, your time is limited. I'll be back.
Hang on a second, Michael. There's no S on Eubank, by the way, just to get that one right. Now, what about your weight? I mean, you always come in right on the weight, but should you be a super middleweight, or what about the criticism?
I've never had any trouble with my weight. You know, the fight before the Christie's fight, I weighed 11.4½. You know, I felt very strong, I was very sharp, as you saw, and I'm just looking forward to keeping active.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Impressive tonight. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Michael with the cut.
So there we go. Maybe the first shots in the battle of Eubank against Watson. I know Chris will be watching this, and well, Chris has got other fish to fry, but Michael Watson might figure in the sun somewhere. So tonight draws to a conclusion. Next week, Barry and I are up in Wisbeach in Cambridgeshire. Herbie Hyde against Lenny Howard, that's for the Southern Area title. At 8 o'clock next Wednesday. Just a reminder tonight, we've seen wins for Michael Watson. We've seen wins for Sean Cummins. And we've seen a win too for Manny Burgo. So all that remains is to say we look forward to seeing you in Wisbeach next week, and with the news that Michael Watson has retained his Commonwealth middleweight title. From all of us here, bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.